A Tale from the Care Bears, The Trouble with Timothy. Story by Margaret Ludlow. Pictures by Tom Cook. Are you ready? Here we go. Hello, we're the Care Bears. We're a special group of colorful, round, snuggly little bears whose job it is to help you understand your own feelings and share them with others. I'm Tenderheart Bear, and it's my job to help people reach out to each other. I say that love is a warm, fuzzy feeling, so go ahead and share it. I'm Cheer Bear, and if you're sad or not feeling well, I'll slide down a rainbow and make you feel better. Smile! I'm Funshine Bear, so there's a great big happy sun on my tummy to remind you to laugh and look at the lighter side of things. You're in luck, 'cause it's me, Good Luck Bear. That's why I'm wearing a 4-leaf clover. Don't count the number of birthdays, count how happy you feel. I'm Birthday Bear, and I'll help make your birthdays the best ever. I'm Wish Bear, and if you wish on my star, maybe your special dream will come true. If you're ever feeling lonely, just call on me, Friend Bear. See, I've got a daisy for you and a daisy for me. Grrr! I'm Grumpy Bear. There's a cloud on my tummy to show that I can take the grouchies away so you can be happy again. I'm Love-A-Lot Bear. I have 2 hearts on my tummy. One is for you, the other is for someone you love. It's my job to bring you sweet dreams. I'm Bedside Bear. Right now I'm a bit sleepy. Are you sleepy too? Now that you know all of us, we hope that you'll have a special place for us in your heart, just like we do for you. With love from all of us, the Care Bears. Monday was not a good day. On Monday, Timothy made a paper airplane out of his arithmetic test. He sailed it across the classroom. It landed in the fish tank. Mrs. Pratt was angry. Who did that? Mrs. Pratt pulled the paper out of the fish tank and unfolded it. The paper was wet, but she could still read Timothy's name on it. Timothy, I want you to write, "I will not throw things in class" 10 times and bring it in tomorrow with your homework. Timothy spent Monday after school digging for worms in the backyard. That night, there was a really good movie on television. So Timothy forgot to write, "I will not throw things in class" 10 times. He didn't bring any papers to school on Tuesday. What Timothy did bring in on Tuesday was a little white box. He put it on Jennifer's desk. When Jennifer saw the little white box, she was very excited. "Look, somebody gave me a present. I wonder what it is. Maybe it's a ring." Jennifer opened the box. "Eek! It's a worm! Oh, yuck! Get it away from me!" Jennifer leaped out of her seat so fast she knocked the box off her desk. The worm fell out and slowly crawled across the floor. All the children started yelling, "Worm! Worm! Watch out for the worm!" Mrs. Pratt had to bang on her desk with a ruler to quiet them down. "Whose worm is that?" she asked. "It's Timothy's worm," everybody yelled. Mrs. Pratt sent Timothy to the principal's office. Oh, maybe he got detention. That's when you have to stay after school. And you're not allowed to do anything. You just have to sit there and be quiet. Wednesday was a terrible day. When Mrs. Pratt turned to write on the blackboard, Timothy tried to be funny. He stuck out his tongue, crossed his eyes, and made a horrible face. Before he could stick his tongue back in and uncross his eyes, Mrs. Pratt turned around. She did not think he was funny. When Mrs. Pratt asked, "If I have 2 apples and you have 2 apples and we put them together, what do we have?" Timothy shouted, "Applesauce." Timothy, that is not funny. I mean, seriously, this is class time. It's time to be serious. This is no time for frivolity, you know. When Mrs. Pratt called on him to read, Timothy couldn't find the place in his reader because he was busy drawing swamp monsters in his notebook. "Timothy, you have to pay attention." Mrs. Pratt wrote a note to Timothy's parents. When Timothy's parents read the note, they sent Timothy to his room. "Nobody likes me," Timothy said to himself. "Everybody hates me. Mrs. Pratt hates me. Jennifer hates me. Even my father and mother are angry with me right now. I don't have a friend in the world." "Oh, I wouldn't say that, Timothy. I'm sure you'll be receiving a very special friend very soon." Up. Did I call that or what? Timothy sighed and sat down on his bed. Suddenly, he noticed that a bear with 2 daisies on its tummy was sitting on his pillow. Timothy was surprised. He picked the bear up. "What are you doing here? I don't own a bear like you. Are you a present?" The bear giggled. Oh, please, stop patting my tummy. It tickles." Timothy was so amazed to hear a bear speak that he almost dropped it. "Careful, careful," smiled the bear. "You are talking. I never heard a bear talk before. You never needed a friend so badly before. You said that you didn't have a friend in the world." "That's true," Timothy said sadly. "No, it's not. I'm your friend, your snuggly furry friend. In fact, that's my name, Friend Bear. And I come from the land of Care-a-Lot. I'll be around as long as you need me, but when you don't need me so much, I'll be on my way. Now, I think I can help you." "How?" said Timothy. "The way I see it, you don't like school very much." "Why should I?" asked Timothy. "School's no fun." "But it can be," said Friend Bear. "I'll show you. Let's play a numbers game with your models." "Can you do numbers?" "Can I do numbers? Can a rabbit roar? Can a pig fly?" "No," Timothy said. "Maybe not," said Friend Bear, "but I can do numbers. Now look, you have 1 swamp monster, 1 dinosaur, and 1 snake man. If I take the dinosaur," Friend Bear took the creature and climbed on the bed, "how many monsters do you have left?" "2," Timothy said. "Very good. As easy as falling off a log." Friend Bear tumbled off the bed and rolled over to Timothy. "When Mrs. Pratt asks you to do arithmetic, why don't you use your imagination? You don't always have to add apples." "That's a good idea for arithmetic," said Timothy. Arithmetic is another word for math. "But what about reading? I don't like reading. We never get to read about really good things like rockets or monsters." "We'll play another game," said Friend Bear. "Do you have a pencil and paper?" Of course. Timothy got them out of his desk. "This is a reading game," Friend Bear explained. "Can you read?" asked Timothy. "Can I read? Can a snake tap dance? Can a cow roller skate?" "I doubt it," Timothy said. Maybe it said Timothy. "Me too, but I can read." Friend Bear picked up the pencil and printed something on the paper. Can you read what it says? Timothy looked at the letters. No, not really. Friend Bear pointed out the words. It says, swamp monsters from outer space meet the Snake Man. If it were a story in a real book, would you want to read it? Timothy's eyes lit up. I sure would. But you couldn't, Friend Bear said sadly. Right now, it wouldn't make any difference to you if the words were upside down like this. Friend Bear stood on his head. And you'll never get to know them if you draw swamp monsters when you're supposed to be learning how to read. Timothy frowned. I never thought about it that way. Thanks, Friend Bear. He picked up Friend Bear by the leg and straightened him up. Oh, Friend Bear giggled. Heavens to fuzzies, that's another ticklish spot. Sorry, but Timothy couldn't resist giving Friend Bear another tickle. Friend Bear giggled. So did Timothy. Then they both laughed louder. Timothy found that he was feeling better. That's great. Later, when they were playing a game, Friend Bear smiled and said, Timothy, may I ask you a question? Sure, Friend Bear. Go ahead. Why do you act silly in school? You know, making faces, teasing. Timothy was silent for a moment. Then he said, I'm not sure, Friend Bear. Sometimes I wonder if anyone notices me. If they laugh at me, maybe they'll want me for a friend. Oh, that explains a lot. He just wants a friend. Maybe, said Friend Bear, but you know, Timothy, it's not hard to have friends. Think about it. If you want somebody to be warm and fuzzy nice to you, you have to be nice to them, Timothy said. Exactly. See, if you want to make a friend, you have to be a friend. She's right. Yes, I know the book says Friend Bear's a he, but Friend Bear's actually a female. So yeah, she's right. And I guess I shouldn't give them worms, Timothy added. Not unless they happen to be worm collectors, Friend Bear smiled. Before Timothy went to sleep that night, he thought for a long time about what Friend Bear had said. The next day, Mrs. Pratt said, I have 2 chickens and you have 2 chickens. What do we have all together? Timothy almost said, lots of eggs, but he didn't. He just pictured 4 fire engines instead of chickens and raised his hand. Mrs. Pratt was very pleased. He didn't draw pictures of swamp monsters during reading time, and when Mrs. Pratt called on him, he read every word right. Mrs. Pratt gave him a dinosaur sticker for his notebook. Good job, Timothy. You're doing better. On Friday, Timothy started to stick his tongue out and cross his eyes at Jennifer. Suddenly, he remembered Friend Bear. Instead of making a horrible face, he smiled. Jennifer looked surprised for a minute. Then she smiled back. Friday was a very good day. Timothy couldn't wait to tell Friend Bear all about it. He ran to his room, but Friend Bear wasn't sitting on Timothy's bed where he usually sat. Where'd she go? Timothy looked in his closet. He looked under his bed. He couldn't find Friend Bear. Then Timothy looked on his table. There, looking as bright and sunny as a new day, were two daisies, just like the ones on Friend Bear's tummy. Timothy remembered what Friend Bear had said. But when you don't need me so much, I'll be on my way. Timothy picked up the flowers. Thank you, Friend Bear. I did it. I think I made a new friend. He wasn't sure, but Timothy thought he heard the daisies giggle. The end. Remember, it's important to behave and pay attention in school. There's a time to be silly, and there's a time to be serious. And class time is the time to be serious. There's no time for frivolity, unless, of course, you're playing a game. But still, remember, it's very important to pay attention and behave when you're in school. And the best way to make friends is to be one. See you later. Bye.